Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead, and on to our next canning project. So this one, there's quite a bit of preparation to do for it. So I thought I'd bring you along to do the first part. I'm not gonna keep you for the whole thing. But these are some really thick chicken breasts. So I'm gonna cut them in half. And then we're just gonna cut strips. I've had them in the refrigerator for 2 days. And they're still partially frozen. So, must be our freezers work pretty good. So basically, I'm going to go through all of this chicken that I have. Trying to clean out that freezer. Alright, so, I'm going to do them just like this in nice little strips. And I'm just going to put them in a bowl and get them ready for when we're ready for them. And then I will bring you back for the next thing that we're going to prep. Hi Jack, you're back.
Hello.
So, I got all that chicken done up. Yeah, I'll bring you over there. But what I decided is I cut it into smaller pieces. I think it'll fit in the jar a lot better. So we are going to make chicken fajitas, and we were kind of like thinking about, should we actually add the spice to it, because then you could make it into anything that you want, but we decided to, and we're not going to over spice it, and that way you can add more if you want to when you're cooking it with what you want to cook it. But we're going to make our spice first. So I'm going to double this recipe that I will put on for you, and I'm going to add 10 tablespoons. Our jars are all popping. 7, 8, 9, 10. And we need 2 teaspoons as well. Alright, then we need 4 tablespoons of ground cumin. And if you have leftover spices, that's no big deal. You can put it in a jar and you can save it and use it again. No big deal. And it's nice to have those spices available to you. And then we need 4 teaspoons, which is probably another tablespoon anyway, but that's all right. That would make me have to think. And then we need 4 tablespoons of paprika. I might actually be able to finish this jar up. Nope, not quite. And another 4 teaspoons. This is a lot cheaper than buying. I heard that one. It was a loud one.
Yep.
This is cheaper than buying it at the store too, by the way. And then we need 2 tablespoons. Well, this is a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. She made it large. Usually when they make it large, that means tablespoon. Yeah. So she messed me up with that. So we're going to do 2 of these. And 2 teaspoons. It does smell good, doesn't it, Jack?
Yep.
Then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of onion powder. This is a way to go through some of your spices. And 2 teaspoons. I don't think we needed to double it, but that's okay. And then it says a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, so we're going to use 2. If you don't want it spicy at all, don't use any. Alrighty. Now we're going to get all that just kind of mixed together. You want to mix it really good. Excuse me. How's that look?
That looks real good.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Get some off the side so... Oh, it smells so good, you guys. Oh. Alright, so let me take care of all these spices and then we'll be back and we're going to start putting together some food. So now we're going to do this in segments here. We're not going to layer and all that good stuff. So we've got 7 quart jars. Hopefully we have enough to do 7 each. Because that's what the chicken I got cut up. So both of our hands are clean, and then before we go to the next step, we'll go wash our hands again. So what we want to do is take a nice full handful, or a handful and a half of chicken, and pour it in the bottom of our jars. If we get through, then we can add more. I think we might have just enough to do it. What do you think?
Yeah.
We decided to put it into gallon bags, and that way it'd be a little bit easier for us to grab into and take up a lot less space. Can't get very much in there. And like I say, if we've got some left over after we fill all of our jars, we'll go back through and use up the rest of the chicken. We're not going to let it go to waste, that's for sure. I think we might actually be able to add more chicken to our stuff. How many more jars you got to fill?
I'm on the 7th one.
I might have done just enough then, huh?
Yeah.
Let me get my 7th jar filled, and then you can add some more to each one. Alright, there we go. Just add a little bit to here and there. That worked out perfect, didn't it?
Yep.
Alright, go ahead and use yours up.
Okay.
Alright, now we're going to wash our hands, and then we'll be back. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 1 tablespoon of that seasoning on top of each bit of chicken here. Now you can do more if you want, but him and I were talking about it, and we didn't want it to be overly spiced up that way if you wanted to change things, because we really did think about not adding any spice at all. So this way you can just add as you know, if you feel like it's enough, then it's enough. If it's not, then, you know, you add more. How's it coming, Jack?
What's left?
Now see what I got left here? I'll just put into a little jar, and I'll have fajita seasoning. So I cut up all these peppers last night. They're mixed between red, yellow, and orange. So we're just going to put a nice good handful in each jar. I should have put my funnel there, shouldn't I? Live and learn. So put a good handful in each jar, and then we'll go do the same thing. If we run out, then we'll just go ahead. Oh, that one landed in the other jar. All right, we're gonna fill these, and then we'll be right back. Now, if you want to, you can debubble as you go along, but I'm gonna wait till everything's in there. So this is what it looks like so far. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to put in a good handful of onions in each jar too. You might have to push it down with your hands a little bit. But so far, we've had just enough of everything, haven't we?
Yep.
That's a good thing. I mean, I can cut up more onions, but I don't have... Well, I guess I have one pepper left in my refrigerator from last week that I bought that I could do, but if we don't have enough onion, we can cut more out. You know, and I know me and Jack are canning together, but if you want to do like if you have quite a few fajitas that you do a year, you know, you could do just like we're doing and just line them right up and do, you know, 14 jars right in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And then you're stocked up for the whole entire year. If you do it once a month, you know what I mean? So, why not? But we're just trying to come up with things to clean stuff out of our freezer and to, you know, put meals on our shelves that are good. Like I told Jack, you can just keep taco shells right in your freezer and then pull out what you need. Let me wash my hands. I'll be right back. Alrighty. How are you getting faster than me, Jack? You're usually slower and way behind me.
I don't want to cry again.
I cut them all up and then I says, can you separate them? And he's like, yeah. And he comes in the living room and he's crying like a little girl. I'm like, what would you have done if you were to be the one that was actually slicing them up? He has a low tolerance for onions.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's use the rest of those up. This is going to be like perfect. We ended up chopping up 4.
Oh, yeah.
4 big onions. And then you use the rest. That worked out so perfect, Jack.
Yep. Again.
Don't you just like it when things come together and they come together the right way? Now, we're cold packing, so we're not adding any broth, anything else to it. Now, if you were going to add beans to it like I've seen some people do, then of course, you know what, you're going to have to put broth or something in it. But this chicken and the onions and the peppers are all going to create liquid. So you don't need to do that unless you're adding beans or something to it. So now what you do need to do, though, is go down through and kind of debubble that chicken. You know, you want to get that chicken moved around in there a little bit. And in the meantime, it kind of pushes your vegetables and everything else down too. And then you can push it down. You don't want it to go past that 1-inch headspace. So him and I are going to debubble all those, and then we'll be right back. So as soon as we get everything cleaned up and whatever, then we'll bring our canners back out and put them back on the stove. So for now, we're just going to make sure that these are really clean because A, you put chicken through there, and B, we've got spices and everything else. But honestly, they look pretty clean. But even if you think that they're clean, still wipe that top off. Because that would suck if you had just a little piece of seasoning on there and it stopped it from sealing. That would suck. So always take that precaution. And then because a lot of my jars are used, you never know. There could be a chip or something in there, and that will make it so it doesn't seal. Alright, so now we're going to go put those lids on there. And again, I'm using my 4 jar lids. And I'll make sure I put the link below. And if you use Chris 10, you get 10% off. And then fingers tip tight. Now these, because they're quarts and they're meat, once they'll be 90 minutes. Look at Jack's getting slick. Jack remembered 90 minutes. That was not good. Re-wipe that top.
That one slipped.
I had it do that the other day on my mac and cheese. Or something. And the jars were hot. It didn't feel so good. Alright, so there we go. And you can see the spices that are going to be in there. We're going to get that put in cold water on the canner. Bring it to pressure. Let it steam for 10 minutes. And then we're going to can it for
90 minutes.
90 minutes. We'll be back when they're done. Alrighty, there they are. They do shrink up in the jar quite a bit. But even for two of us, I'm sure that's going to be more than enough fajitas for a meal. Look how beautiful that is, though. Still cooking. And all that juice came from that chicken and from those veggies. So you didn't need to add anything. Now, if you choose to put like beans in the bottom, you will have to use chicken broth because otherwise there won't be enough juice for the beans to expand. So if you decide that you want to add beans, make sure you fill it with chicken broth. So there we go. I think they're going to make one heck of a great meal. You guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing, and I'll see you at dinner.